Welcome everyone to the Ultimate Website Creator webinar. I'm going to show my screen here. I'm going to tell you a little bit about how to use GoToWebinar for those of you who have not been on before. On the right side of your screen, you're going to see a little button that looks like a hand. Throughout the evening, I might do a little poll or ask if anybody has any input on anything, and I might ask you to click that. Just click it once, it'll raise your hand, and I usually click a button on my side that lowers all hands at once. So let me do that if you don't mind. Someone just tried it, and that is perfect. I will go ahead and lower your hands for you. All right, let's do our first one. Can everybody hear me? Click the raise hand button. Cool, that's pretty much everybody. All right, next thing you'll see is a question box, and somebody can ask a question. Looks like somebody did. Paul says he cannot hear. He needs to change his settings. You need to turn the volume on. Excellent. Or use call-in feature. So if you can't hear me right now, I can't really tell you this, but you should maybe use the call-in feature because you may not have speakers on your computer. All right, so let's get started. So this webinar is impromptu. I just made a Facebook post and had about 100 respondents, mostly home inspectors and real estate agents, about 50-50 there, and a few people that don't do real estate or home inspection at all, and that's perfectly fine. We built a website creator for primarily the real estate industry, but also for the general audience. And the way that you enter it is one of three ways. If you're a real estate agent, go to ultimateagentwebsites.com. If you're a home inspector, go to ultimateinspectorwebsites.com. And for all others, ultimatewebsitecreator.com. I'm going to log in there in a moment. And what I encourage you to do is, if you're really good at using computers, if you're really great at using internet applications, then feel free to follow along and do some stuff while I'm doing it and create your own website right now. Otherwise, just watch my screen and I'll show you exactly how to do what you need to do. And then later on, we're going to give you a place for support. In fact, I'm going to give you that right now. So take all these websites down, and I can put them in the chat real quick, actually. All right, so in the chat, you will find a link for your website creator. I have another question that just came in. Perfect. Jeremiah says if you call in, you can hear the audio just fine, even if your computer's not working. I'm going to make sure that hits everybody. All right, perfect. So the next thing is, if you need support on these websites, I want you to take down these web addresses: homeinspectionforum.net or realestatemessageboard.com. Those both go to the same location, and you want to look for the section that says web development and domains for real estate professionals and home inspectors. I'm going to drop that in the chat as well, because this will be ongoing support for you guys exclusively. All right, now let's get started. First things first, my name is Nathan Thornberry. I'm with Residential Warranty Services and the Inspector Services Group. Pretty much all of you know me. If you don't, what we do is a lot of real estate service stuff, home warranties through the real estate agents, and then various tools for home inspectors like Recall Check, 90-day warranties, Sewer Guard, etc. So enough about me. Let me show you this support site real quick. So if you log into homeinspectionforum.net or realestatemessageboard.com, which isn't that hard. You just click sign up, and it'll have a little capture code that you have to put in that's a little bit tricky, but then you should get right in. If you go to the forum index at any given time, you will find a section that says web development and domains for real estate professionals and home inspectors. All you have to do is click on that, and you will see anybody who wants to start a thread, you can start one, and we'll answer publicly so everybody can see it. If you run into any bugs on this thing, it's brand new. It's not quite ready for launch to the general public, but we don't want just bugs. We want things that will make your life easier, will make your websites really pop. So anything you need, this is what we're doing. We're putting the money into development to give it what you need to get what you want out of it. So let me do the next thing here, which is to log in to Ultimate Agent websites. I'll use that as an example. So I'm going to click sign in. If you want to click sign up, it's real easy. It just asks for an email address and then a password, of course, and you can pick your own password. When you log in the first time, you won't see what you're about to see on my screen because I actually have a few websites that I've created, so ignore these. But after you've created a website, you will see websites with whether they've been published or not, whether they're the basic package, which is the free websites as advertised, or the premium, which is a paid thing. You can remove a website, you can change it, you can change the name is what that it means. You can preview it and you can edit it. Editing is, of course, what this is all about, but I'm going to start with a brand new site, and all you have to do is click New Site at the top right hand side of your screen. Now, some of this stuff is going to change as we get going. We had played with a bunch of different names, for instance. So on the upper left-hand side of my screen, you'll see Real Estate Web Builder. That's definitely going to change, and some of the look may change, but the functionality will remain essentially the same as we do our final development process. So I'm going to click New Site. So far, so good. It is going to go somewhat slow on this webinar because GoToWebinar is a resource hog, but it should go a lot faster for you at home. Once the sites come up, you'll see a preview of different templates. Now, right now, depending on which way you go in, if you're an inspector, you'll see certain types of templates. If you're a real estate agent, you'll see other types of templates. They're nowhere close to complete, but a template really doesn't mean much in this web builder other than just giving you inspiration and ideas. So you hover over these and you can either preview the template or you can click create and it will create a website. Let's click preview real quick just to see what it does. Again, GoToWebinar is kind of a resource hog. You'll see these circles, little dots circling in the middle of the screen as it's waiting. That's the thing we built to let you know it's working. So we're going to let that go for a second while I look to see if there are any other questions. Excellent, none. All right, so this is not a completed template, but it has quite a few of the components of a real estate website. So you have your text over here, multiple pictures. When you click on a picture, it does some cool stuff depending on which element you dropped in, which I'll be demonstrating momentarily. Once a picture pops up, you can just click it and it will go to the next picture. And in GoToWebinar, you might not see how smoothly it does it, but one goes off the screen, the next one goes onto the screen, and these are all sample photos we grabbed from somewhere on the internet. Most of them will disappear, of course, as we get into more official content. But this gives you a good idea of what the sites are capable of. You'll also see in the background of the site there is a picture, and that picture stays put as we're scrolling up and down. Also, you'll see in the main body of the website, there's a background, and in some places there is no background. Up at the top where it says real estate test components, there's no background, and in the middle there's a white, almost transparent background. You can set each component with a color and transparency, and that I will, of course, demonstrate right now as well. So let me go to back to the site, and let's just start with creating a website. I told you it'd be easy. Let's make it look real easy. Again, this is going to take a second because of GoToWebinar. It would be a lot faster usually. If this template is too complex, I may back out and go back into it. We'll give it just a second, and oh, look, it's showing up. Good. All right, so this site, again, was kind of a template, but you could start with nothing. One of the first things you do is your background, and a lot of people now like to have a big, rich picture for the background. On the left side of your screen, you will see an eyeball. That eyeball is what you click to establish what that background landscape looks like. You can change the general color of the website right here. You can create a palette for the website, which we will be coming out with more and more palettes. One of them is called Nate's Realty, which doesn't really make sense, I realize. But you can actually adjust these palettes even and then apply them. So if I apply a palette, I just click the checkbox and it will change all the colors to that color scheme. We have a designer that is working on templates right now, so these different palettes, they'll change, they'll become a lot more appealing to the eye and whatnot. Let me try one of these right here. There you go. So that one's hardly legible. Let's go back to this one. There we go. On the background image, all you have to click is background image. Very user friendly. And click upload background image. I'm just going to go to my desktop where I picked up a few screenshots earlier. And I'm going to pick just a picture of, let me see. Here we go. Picture of me and Jeff Ross from our conference this year. I'm going to click open. And when I do that again, GoToWebinar's a resource hog. It's going to take a second. Once it pops up there, we're going to be able to select a few details as to how this will act. We can stretch it to the entire screen. We can tile it. We can move it to one position or another. Real easy push of a button stuff. You don't have to know how to build a website in order to do this. All right, I had somebody ask a question while we're waiting for this. Mike asked, he said he can't find the web development and domains for real estate professionals and home inspectors. It's on the public side. It's about the 5th or 6th down for those of you who have used our inspection and real estate forum. All right, so now we see the background image has popped up. Hopefully you see that on your screen. And this isn't the greatest background image. I'm just loading one for an example for you. But right now it's stretched completely. So I pick it for scaling at full screen. I can also fit it to the screen, which is a slightly different way to fit it. I can tile it. I can tile horizontally, which I realize is spelled wrong. Again, this is not completely ready to go. Or I can tile it or give it a normal, which would just be the picture however many pixels it was when you uploaded it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a straight up tile because I think that looks a little bit better for this picture. Again, not an ideal picture, but that's all you have to do for the background. Nothing else to it really. The next thing you might be doing with a website is creating your pages. So you'll see at the top we have these links. And this is a pretty typical menu bar. You can change anything on this. You can make a menu bar out of buttons. You can put it vertically, however you want to do it. This menu bar, in order to modify it, all you have to do is click on any element and it will bring up details and give you all different options for what you can do. So here's the background of the menu bar. I want to change it to blue. I'm going to choose that. There it went, blue. I want the hover to be a different color. I'm not going to change that yet. I can change the border of it. I can change the position. But I don't really need to change the position here when I can just unclick and I can change the size of it or drag it around the screen. I can move this wherever I want, and every component on your screen you can do that with. I can change the style to vertical, which isn't as good as creating buttons, and I'll show you how to do that. I can change the font, and right now there's a limited options here, just the font size. Very shortly you'll have a list of fonts that would be similar to the font list you'd find in like a Microsoft Word. So I want to take a quick poll because I've never done one of these on a website developer before. It's a new thing for us. Is everybody following along so far? Click the hand raise button. All right, perfect. I'm going to lower all hands and ask anyone if this is too hard to do. All right, so I'm going to lower them one more time. Was anything about this too difficult? Raise your hand. All right, I had one, but I think it might be a mistake. So I'm going to reduce that one. Either way, if it's one, we have the support online. So join me there. All right, so the next thing you'll see on a website is your content. And this is usually in the form of a text box. So you'll see a text box right here. And I can click on the text box and highlight text and change the text. I can type in new text and just say, this webinar is awesome. I can then change that text just like you would in Microsoft Word. I can underline it. I can do a strike through. I can make it bold. I can change the format or the font. And again, limited options here right now, but we're going to have more coming in the next few weeks. And I can change the size of the font as well. Probably the strike through isn't the best looking on your screen. I'll get rid of that. Click out, and the menu goes away. Click it again and move it, and it goes wherever. Now, I'm going to slow this down a second, and I moved to the middle, and you'll see a black line striking through the site. What that's doing is that's lining up with another component on the screen. So very easily you can make sure everything lines up with other components on the screen, and so that it looks good. So I'll move it over here and move it up, and right there. So this is now centered with those center photographs you see on the right. Here's another thing I can do. I'm just going to delete this thing. Now this is just the delete button on your keyboard. A delete button on your keyboard gets rid of any component. There is no undoing that action. You can just make the component again. On the left side of your screen, you'll see a plus sign in a circle, and it says Insert Element. When you click Insert Element, it gives you all sorts of different options for elements to insert. What we just got rid of was what we call a paragraph element. Paragraph just means a box that you can type in. Click the button, and that will always show up on the upper left-hand side of whatever page you're working on. So I can move that right back to where it was, resize it appropriately, click in it twice. All you have to do is double click and then highlight to replace all of the text with "This webinar is awesome." I can make it exactly how it was before in a matter of moments. There we go. Now for that reason, templates aren't that important, because I can grab any component, including this component here, which is a component where multiple pictures go into one menu, and I can drag this component around. I can resize it. It was in a good spot, but if I wanted to make a longer web page, I certainly could do that. This component, if I double click on it, a different kind of menu pops up, and you can see all the different pictures that are uploaded here. In order to add more pictures to that component, all you have to do is click the upload picture in the top right. There's a expand checkbox, and all that means is that when you click on a picture in the on a live website, it will expand and become a full screen picture so that people can see them in detail. On each picture, you'll see two arrows and an X. The X will get rid of the picture, will delete it. The arrow will change the order in which the picture is seen. So by clicking the left arrow, I just moved the third picture to part 2, and now I just moved it to part 1. When I'm all done with that, all I have to do is just click the X in the top right hand side. We may add a save button at some point, but for some of the elements, it's just more clicks and doesn't make sense. Looks like I got a question that has come in. The question was, any sound on this? Yes, there is. Hopefully this isn't a problem for many. Oh, it says now that I'm cutting in and out. I apologize. I hope that's not the case for everybody. If you have trouble hearing something, I'm just going to take it slow, and we'll see how it works out. For everybody else, I'm going to say use the phone option just for simplicity's sake. All right, so the next thing is, if you have multiple pages, as this template automatically did, you can go up to the top left, click on the menu, the drop-down box, and it'll take you to another page. Now this page we've just called it video. it would obviously, that doesn't make sense in a website you would build for yourself. But we've come to a component that is really cool. It is a component that, to my knowledge, hasn't been built into any other web developer. Okay, looks like, according to Chris Schuld, I only cut out when I drag things around. So if I drag anything else around, I'm going to stop talking and drag the thing around. So this video here is really easy to insert as an element. All you have to do is click the plus sign on the left-hand side, and then you will see a button that says video. It's the third down on the left-hand side. When you click video, it just opens up a video exactly like this, a component just like the one you see on your screen. Now, when I click on it, then I get details, including the width, the height, the top portion, and the left portion. That isn't something you need to touch. Typically in web development, one of the toughest things we have to deal with when we create a web video for somebody is that they don't know how to put it into their web platform. They'll go to the YouTube account, and I'm going to go to this one. Here's a one for home checks. I'm just going to go to this video, and hopefully it doesn't start playing. Okay, I'm going to stop it right as it does. All right, so here's a video from home checks. And in order to embed that into your website, typically you would go to share, and then you'd click embed. And when you clicked embed, you'll find this iframe width and this height, and you have to put in those numbers and try to make the component the right size for your website. So here's what you have to do now. This is much easier. You'll see this thing that says SRC right in the middle, and it'll say SRC equals, and that's source equals youtube.com/embed/m_FVU5, few other numbers and letters. All we're going to do is highlight from within the quotation marks after source, and I'm going to copy that and go back to my web developer. On this video, it says video. You can choose a provider of YouTube or Vimeo. In this case, I'm choosing YouTube, and we will add more eventually. And I'm just going to put in that source that I just copied and pasted. And you'll see the new video is now up. Now, in order to set the settings to it, rather than having to figure out how to do that in YouTube, we gave you buttons right here. You can click autoplay, so when somebody lands on this site, it just starts right away. You can also click loop, so it doesn't go to anybody else's videos. It just stays on yours and loops through. They can stop it whenever they've had enough of it. And here's the cool thing that you don't have to do with our web developer that you have to do in most, if not all others. You no longer have to determine the size. All you do is click on the component. You will see the dots on the corners, just like you do in Microsoft Word or any other program you're using. And I'm going to shut up while I'm moving this because Chris seems to think I'm cutting out on at those parts, and I believe him. I'm going to resize this video, so watch this. All I did was grab the corner and change the size. And I can add a video on every page. I can add multiple videos, doesn't matter. I can resize them, put them in the right places, and they're good to go. Now, one other component of this is, of course, the background. And for this background, I have kind of a gray background. In order to deal with that, all I do is click on the page at the side. Excuse me, I click on the eyeball. And I go to the palette, and on this Nate Realty, I just click on Nate Realty again. And you'll see the content area is gray. That's good. Click the drop down. On the drop down, you'll see that you can pick any color that exists. And there's also this little slider at the bottom. so you can change the level of transparency and then click choose. Now it's transparent and I can see the image behind. If I click save and apply, that will change the palette called Nate Realty, and you can even rename the palettes yourself. I'm going to click apply and save. Done. Click out of that, you're good to go. Now let's say I wanted to add another page to this website. All I would do is click the page button on the left side. It's right underneath that I. And I can click add page. Now, if you don't know how to do something, there's two things you can do. Well, three things. One, you could just not do it. Two, you could just try it until it works. Or three, you can look at the other examples or pull up a template. Or, of course, the fourth option is just to go to our support page and get an answer right away. So I'm going to go to the home settings on the home page and click the edit page. And you'll see the page address is just home. Page title is home. And then you'll see a title, description, and keywords. These are all for SEO. These are very effective SEO things. You can also name pictures in this program, or in this web developer rather. So all of the SEO stuff we really have covered, and you can't miss it. It's right there. Just fill in the blanks. And as SEO changes or as SEO gets more complex, we'll make sure that the web developer keeps up with it. Now that just reminded me I didn't say something that I should have. When you're building this web developer, this is a very advanced program. We had 8 developers on this in 2 shifts for a period of 6 months, and we're still getting rid of some of the kinks and adding more features. We have plans to put in a lot of money into this over the next 2 years as we gain user base. But it's so complex that Internet Explorer 8 and prior really can't utilize it at all. It's really preferred that you use either Mozilla Firefox or Google Chrome when accessing the site. Internet Explorer will work, but some of the features are too advanced for Internet Explorer. Microsoft is coming out with a new platform. We are going to be compatible fully with that, but until they do, they're behind the 8 ball. So we see the page address, the page title. Let's click Add a Page. Now it says page address. We're going to call it Order an Inspection. And the page title will be Order an Inspection. Now something just occurred to me. I need to take the spaces out of page address. I believe it will automatically self-correct to underscores, but just in case, I'm going to leave it as Order an Inspection. And then I'm going to make it title, ABC Home Inspections Order Inspection Page. Keywords, order your inspection, Omaha, right? So save page, and that's about as good as we can do. Now, at the left side of your screen, you'll see an up and a down arrow, and maybe I want order an inspection to be the first item in a menu. You'll see on the top right of your screen, look what got added, order an inspection. It's automatically in the menu. Now, I can get rid of that menu altogether. I can create my own little buttons for a menu, make any kind of menu I want to, put it on the left side of the screen or the top of the screen. I can make it stay and not move. All I have to do is make those buttons go to the link that I created here. So let's just go ahead and take this and move it up the list. There, went over 1, went over 2. Pretty cool stuff. I can also copy that page and create another page exactly like it, so I don't have to start from scratch creating multiple pages. I can just modify from there. Now, it's been a while since I checked out our chat and hands up and stuff, so let me go ahead and check that out. Looks like Shelly has her hand up. I don't know what that means. I think she meant you're cutting out a bit for me. I seem to be doing that when I'm modifying things, so I apologize. Hopefully you guys are getting enough of this that you can start building a website. So every element of this website builder works exactly the same as what I've shown you so far. You really don't need any more training than this. In fact, I have my 10 and 12-year-old are going to be building their own websites this week. And when they do, we're going to be videotaping them doing it and showing anybody out there, the general public, that a 10-year-old can build a website rather in 10 minutes. All right. So let me see. Shelly's hand is back up. Hopefully that means that she just pressed the button twice. I'm going to put it down. If you need us, just click the hands up button again. All right. So let's go to one other thing that for you guys. I know one person on the call is like an expert web designer and can build applications and everything else. And I hope that person, who knows who he is, and he's texting me right now, is just impressed as all get out that we built something like this, and sees it as something that people who need websites can utilize. I invite him here so that he can work with our team to integrate some of their stuff from Inspection Support Network. But for the rest of you, I hope you're not really great web developers and that this makes you an awesome web developer. When you build in this, it automatically creates an HTML5 website. Let me show you a couple more things, and then we'll move on to the most confusing thing for the amateur website developer. I love how people that have my cell phone number are texting me questions during the webinar. All right, so buying. There's a photo tour. There are no photos in this thing. I'm going to go to a different box here. All right, so here we've built a slideshow, and you'll see the slideshow. You can't really operate it when you're looking at the website. So if you really want to see what it looks like, what you do is you go to the top of the page and you click Save. Now this is a really important step. I'm going to take this one slow. So you click New Site, you grab a template, and then you can modify it. You can make it look nothing like the template that was there. There's literally endless possibilities to this web development tool, and you'll never look like anybody else's website. But when you click Save, there's going to be a box that says Create New Site. And then you enter a site name. Now it's really important when you enter the site name that it's not for anybody else's eyes. This is really for you to know which site it is that you're referring to, and for support too. So you could tell me, here's the site name of the site that I'm having trouble with, and I can go in, confirm you're actually having that issue, get our development team on it, or I can go in and fix it, take little videos, show you how I did it, and make sure everybody else is aware. So I'm going to call the site Ultimate Website Creator Demo. And then this next part is really important because we've really simplified a process that is very confusing to many. And that would be, okay, you go to a domain registrar, whether it be Economical Domains or other ones like Economical Domains, or even other ones like Economical Domains or GoDaddy. When you go there, how do you connect your website, your URL with the website? And it's real simple. There's this domain management tool, usually. I'm going to show you the one at economicaldomains.com. And when you go into your domain name settings, there will be a thing that says CNAME, C-N-A-M-E. And all you need to do is highlight this thing right here that says rwsc-hostfarm.cloudapp.net and copy it. And you just put it in the CNAME property of the domain. Here's the trick. You enter the site URL right here, and all you have to do is put www. Whatever website you bought, and then I would usually put .com. I'm going to put .gh. It wants to see .something, but this isn't a real website. I'm not really going to publish this one tonight. And you click Save. Now this process will take a couple of moments. I'm going to go back to our dashboard. Looks like I might have another question. Question, once we build the site, how is it hosted? By you? Sorry, I missed a lot. I called for the sound. No problem, James. This site is hosted within this web builder. You don't have to host it anywhere else. We are making the process really super simple. If you host it with us, there are two options for payment. One would be totally free. Basically, if you're a client of ours, you're going to get it for free up to 5 sites. And if you're not a client of ours, then you end up paying like $19 a month per site. That includes the web builder, hosting, everything. If you're an agent, same thing, but you don't have to be a client of ours. You just have to live with a residential warranty services ad at the top. And I'll show it to you. It's not like bad or anything. So I've now saved this website. The next thing that I have to do is I click publish. Now I'm going to demonstrate very shortly how to add that CNAME into the domain name settings at economicaldomains.com. But basically, when I click publish, I'm going to get to pick the basic package or premium package. Basic is free, of course. That's what we're all here for. You'll never get charged for it. Hosting's free forever. You know the way I work. But and by the way, for those of you who are on the call, there's a few of you that aren't home inspectors or real estate agents. For you guys, you can have one free website, and it just has a little ad for the website builder itself, which isn't altogether different than other models out there, like the Weebly's and the Foursquares and the Wixes of the world and whatnot. We just think we've built an easier tool that makes more dynamic websites, and we're going to be adding a whole bunch of stuff to it. Future stuff that we'll be launching would be like e-commerce, better social media interaction, some cool tricks with video, a lot more video places like where you can draw the videos from. In addition to YouTube and Vimeo, we'll pick a bunch of other ones. And just enhancements, lots of templates. We want to create, thousands of them, frankly. And we are currently hiring engineers to work in Carmel at our offices here to take care of any customer support issues and keep those templates coming. So this thing's done waiting. I'm going to click confirm for the basic package, and it's done. You see the free subscription has been successfully applied. I click X. I'm back to this. Now, if I want to see what this website looks like, all I have to do is click the I at the top of the screen that says preview. And it usually opens up another tab. Again, we're still cleaning up some of that stuff. So if you're a real estate agent, since I started from a real estate agent platform, that's what I logged in through, it creates a very small ad at the top that says, get a warranty, get an inspection. By the way, it's referring you right back to the inspector that invited you to this webinar tonight. If you were invited by a webinar or by a home inspector, and if you weren't, it just refers you to a great home inspector. At the top right, you'll see some mold testing, and in the middle, the home warranty. For $19, you get rid of that ad. And here you go. Now you can actually see the site working. So I can click on a picture, and it pops up, and you can scroll through the pictures. I can go to the mortgage calculator. This is one of the components that you can click on your button when you add a component. You can put in the loan amount, the years, the interest rate, and calculate a payment. Very useful tool for real estate websites. Frankly, not a bad tool for inspection websites. You can put on a form for the what is my home worth, so you can do a BPO. You can get property details right from here, and when they click submit, where does that information go? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the web builder, and I'm going to show you. Actually, let's go to this. I meant to show you the slideshow before, so let's go to the slideshow. I think it was under selling. Yeah, here it is. So the slideshow, you can set the settings of what the slideshow does, and it will automatically go through. You can pick on what time frame it does that, and you can pick which photos and everything. It's very intuitive. I'm going to close that tab, and I'm going to go back to this and show you. So when you click on it, you double click, and it brings up all the pictures. You can change the order. You can change the interval, how many seconds it takes between pictures, and upload your pictures. You can even have captions that you show. So very easy tool to use. It will not confuse any of you, I promise. But if it does, we're here to help you build it, because we really want to make the easiest thing so that when you have an idea, you just don't even think about it. Go make a website, It'll take you 5 minutes. You'll be there before your competition is. Real quick, before I get back to questions again, I want to add an element, and I'm just going to delete this slideshow real quick. Boom, gone. Click the plus button, insert an element, and I'm going to do a contact us button. So this brings in a box, and you can move the box. Excuse me, I'll say that again because I probably cut out. You can move the box anywhere you want, and then you can change what the box says, what all the categories are, what all the fields are, just simply by clicking on the box, and then you'll see text and font, the title, you can change that, you can change the border, you can change the position, you can change the details of it as well. And there's actually, there's another contact form that you can change each category, and we're building more and more of these. But one thing that is really important to note is at the bottom you'll see a menu that says email. Click that, and you can have this form, the results of this form, get emailed to you at one email or multiple emails. All you have to do is follow the example there, which is one email, comma, the next email. I'm going to go back to our question bar and see what else we have going. Can you have more than one domain point to the same page, i.e. a .com and a .org render the same site? Of course. Let me go real quick to our domain site. Let me find it real quick. I know I opened it. Here you go. So this is economicaldomains.com. I would suggest it for a number of reasons. I buy a lot of URLs. And let me tell you, from a guy that's had as many as 4,000 or 5,000 URLs and realized that I was spending, $30,000 to $50,000 a year just on domain names, it's not necessarily a great idea to just buy any domain you think of. Now I'm a guy that sells domains, and I'm telling you not to do it. Okay, so don't pay me that money. Wait until you know that you have a good idea and that it's you've really worked it through in your head. Or if you're really trying to protect some property, that's another reason to do it. So in this example that the question was about was what happens if I have a .com and a .org. So this works like any other domain registration site. You type in a domain you want, and then if we don't have that domain available, we find other ones that might interest you, and it's really good about doing that. So you can go and play with that later at economicaldomains.com. But I'm going to log in real quick, and I'm going to show you how we point a domain to a website. So real quick, got to look up my password. There it is. I'm going to sign in. Oh, that's good news. Hold on a second. Well, that is a relief. All right, so I'm going to go into my account, and I just click to manage orders, list and search orders, and I'm just going to go to, let's see, ultimatewebsitecreator.biz. And all you have to do is click on the site, and then on the right side, you'll see DNS management. I'm going to click on DNS management, and you'll see this thing that says your DNS management service is not configured correctly. We're working on making that never happen, but for right now, all you have to do is click configure now, and it says fix name servers automatically, and just click that button, and then it fixes them. So we just need to make that automated. As silly as it sounds, there's nothing that can't be fixed automatically. It's just a matter of doing it. So there's a button on the side that says manage DNS. You click manage DNS, and then you go to CNAME records right in the middle. And you'll remember that we copied the RWS host .cloudapp.net, And I'm just going to click add a CNAME record. There would usually not be any here, so I'm just showing you what you would need to do. And all you have to do is put in the value of rwc hostfarm.cloudapp.net and click add record. That is it. Now, it may take 24 to 48 hours. It's usually done in about 6 hours, but it will connect to the website that you created, named, and put in that domain name. Now, to answer the question of how to make the .org also look at your .com, well, all you do is a URL forwarding or domain forwarding to the original one, and you're done. You don't have to point everyone to the server. All right, I'm going to go back to the web builder and pull up more questions. And I'm going to lower everybody's hands right now. If anybody has a microphone and would like to ask a question live, you can. I'm going to go through a couple of these. Can I email a free ebook or PDF when information is gathered? And then never mind. Well, let me answer that. Of course you can. And you can automate that process through a number of email services. This isn't one of those. You can, however, have the submit form, and then it goes to a page that says, thanks, and here's how awesome I am as a home inspector or a real estate agent, of course. Another question, can we make mobile or mobile-friendly sites? You won't have to. What we're going to do is we're going to make this a very scaled website that's not completely done yet, but for now it looks okay. It's navigable. We really just want to make it very dynamic so that most all of the features are there on the mobile, because I'm just not really a big fan of the strict mobile site. It is in the future development to develop a strict mobile version that you can set for any particular site. We're going to make it easier and more coherent than other options you've seen in the market. Next question is, how does the contact form filter out spam? Right now it does not. Hopefully you won't get that much of it, but we will add a capture form and a "Are you a spam bot?" button very soon, and that'll do that for you. Let me see if I'm going to get rid of some of these questions. Are we creating, this is a great one, are we creating new web addresses or using our own existing web addresses and redirecting? So that's a great question. It really depends on your strategy. So I came up with a few ideas for websites for agents and inspectors. So for the agents on the call, you might want to create different websites for different areas. For instance, in Indianapolis, we have a few hotspots that people regularly search online for, various areas, and they really would like a specialist in some of those areas. I don't think anybody cares about whether they have a specialist in some areas. There's just certain areas where, and we all have these in every town, but in ours, I think a Broad Ripple specialist or a downtown Indianapolis specialist is something that's very marketable. Now, you can be a Broad Ripple specialist on one website and be a Geist specialist on another website. So here you are, create a bunch of them. And there's actually another big point for real estate agents, because I have a bunch of you on the call that are from, various brokerages, and you fall into a certain trap. And I'm not saying it's a totally bad thing. It's certainly a service that you've been offered, but you don't really want to have your main website that you're promoting in your emails and on your business cards and letterhead and everything else to be a, mybrokerswebsite.com/your name. You want your own, you want to promote your own brand, because the reality is, you may love your broker today, but, he could get hit by a bus tomorrow, or maybe you could just not like him tomorrow, whatever the case may be. You might change up, and you want all of your clients to follow you, not to accidentally dial them and, find the next agent on the floor that day. Okay. So on using your own addresses or redirecting, if you have an existing website that's already doing very well on search engines, it has results for you, come up with a new domain name. And maybe it is one of those different areas, which same applies to home inspectors. Maybe it's for different types of homes. Maybe it's a condo based thing. Maybe it's, a horse farm based thing, or whatever it may be. For inspectors, it might be different types of inspections, like mold testing, radon testing, all these things, infrared. You might also do different pages or even entire websites just for, which I would suggest the pages actually, but for individual properties. We've given you a template to build a property web page here that makes, I think, marketing yourself as a listing agent even easier. When I list your home, it's going to get its own website, and for $10 at the sign store, you can make a great rider that says 123mainstreet.com, and then you come here and take advantage of the free website. And whenever that listing expires or gets sold, hopefully, you just delete it and start another free website. So I think that's a good option. Next question. So before I save the website, I need to have purchased the website domain via economicaldomains.com. Well, you can buy the domain anywhere and just go into those CNAME settings and paste the rwsc hostfarm.cloudapp.net, which will pop up at the right time for you. You don't have to memorize that. I'd love it if you did it at economicaldomains.com. I think I make like 20 cents on a domain. We sell them very cheap, and they don't auto renew, which is why I bought it, because when I had 4,000 plus domains, they were auto renewing on me, and out of nowhere, I'm looking at my profit and loss and going, geez, where'd 40 grand go? So if you're the kind of entrepreneur that just constantly buys web domain names, what it forces you to do is it emails you once a year with plenty of time to go and says, which ones do you want to renew? And you check them and make sure they're ones that you want to keep. So we're looking at making that an option so you can pick one way or the other in the future. But for now, I've programmed it to do it the way we want it. You do not have to own the domain before you save it. Go ahead and go into this web creator, make 5 websites, enjoy yourself, play with it. There's not a button you can click that's going to break anything. If you click a button, you expect one thing to happen and something else does, let me know. But otherwise, you can just build 5 domains, or 5 websites. You can name them, and you can always change what domain name it is. But if you have a domain name in mind and it's something you really want, well, go register it now, and that's fine. And you can just park it. Otherwise, build the website, and then once you're ready to go, or whenever you're comfortable, go buy the domain name, and they will automatically connect. So if you save it, what happens is the domain company, the domain registrar, sends the website to the Cloud App hosting, and then because we know it's coming from that domain, it automatically connects with the domain that was saved as that domain name. So it's very easy to use. Anybody can do it. I'm going to delete that one, go to the next. How do you add a caption to the photos? All right, so there's a couple of ways to do that, and I'm going to demonstrate that right here. So let me just move this one, and let's add a photo. You'll see this thing that says image on the insert element page. I'm going to click on the image, and it'll say no image yet if you look really closely or zoom in. So I'm going to click the upload button. And what image will I do? I'm going to do a race car. I'm going to wait for that to come about. And there's like 50 more questions. I'm going to go through them fast, and then if anybody wants to participate, go ahead and click the raise hand button, and I will unmute your microphone. All right, so this has now been uploaded, and all I have to do is resize it. It's the recall check race car. All right, so now when I click on this, it gives me a few options. I have the image, so I can replace it with another one. You don't have to host your images anywhere else either. It's just automatic. You can change the position manually, but why would you do that when you can just drag it around the page like anybody could do it? You can change the style. This one has a shadow box. You can drop the shadow box. We're going to add more styles later. And then on the link, you can make the picture a link. You can send it to an email. It can open up the person's email device. You can make it a link to a different website, or you can make it a link to a different page of your own website. And when you make it a link to a different page of your own site, it pops up a menu with the different pages. So now it would have that function. To make a caption for it, what we will have here in the next week or so is a button that says meta tags, so you can add words that Google would see for SEO. And then also to add a caption if you just want to add verbiage. Well, that's easy. All you have to do is press insert element and then add a panel or a button or just a simple paragraph. And then you grab that paragraph, drag it below the item, click inside it and say, awesome car. Hope that answered that question. Next, can I just build a testimonial only website with this tool? Possibly have a main page that shows 6 video testimonials on the first page and being able to click to a second and third page to view more testimonials. Of course, but I wouldn't recommend it. Here's what I would recommend just as a web marketing guy. I would recommend you build in a few testimonials on every page of any website you have, and make it very specific to the kind of people that would be visiting that website. But if you want to build a testimonial museum, be my guest. We will host all of that for you. We have a raised hand or two. Oh, we have a few. All right, I'm going to go to Chad first, and we'll do a sound test first here. Chad, if your name is Chad, say hello, and maybe everybody will hear you.
Hey Nathan, how you doing?
Good. All right, that's the right
Hello?
Chad.
All right. My question is, can we get into doing code-specific editing? Like if we go to a different page, like say Internachi, and highlight their code to copy something onto that page, is that possible?
Yes, let me see if it's here yet. We actually did request that feature, and it's coming soon. All right, it's not here just yet, but we're going to. And I think that was the thing that Chris Schulden needed at ISN as well. So you're going to have on an insert element basis here very shortly another button, and this thing's just going to get bigger, and we might even have categories at some point. But there's going to be one that says insert HTML, and then you can kind of relegate where that HTML lands. And you'll have to do a little bit of the looking at the preview to make sure you're centering everything right. And then we're going to try to figure out how to make that HTML look the way, represented the way that it would to the client after the website is published on the editor itself. So it'll be even easier to move around. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Anything else?
Not currently.
What do you think of this? Are you going to build some websites?
Oh, I'm planning on doing a website or two this week, so we'll see how it works out.
Awesome. Well, if you don't mind taking a screenshot and putting it on the forum when you get it done, that would be awesome. I might even have a prize for the first person to do that. I'm going to lower your hand, sir, and let's see who else's hands were up. Oh, we have Jim from Canada. So if your name is Jim and you're in Canada, say hello right now. If your name is Jim from Canada and you don't have a microphone, say hello right now, and none of us will be able to hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Plugged in the microphone, eh?
No, I unplugged it.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
having trouble with the handheld. So my question is, like, when we're doing this, so we're going to purchase a secondary domain name, or do you recommend using our existing domain names and pushing them forward onto this one?
Well, if you already have some domain names that you're not really using, you're just, forwarding them to your main site or whatever.
Yeah, I have 6 that I'm forwarding to my main site at the moment.
Well, if they're the ones you want, then, by all means use those and make them, real websites and promote them. But if you're looking for, something that's catchier or whatever, then, go shopping for some domains. The store's open 24 hours a day. I would never
We
try to.
need to talk after you're done the seminar here because there's one that you need that I
Oh, now we're going to start auctioning websites. Well, I will
have.
definitely take you up on that, Jim. Anything else?
No, that was it. I was just curious if it made more sense to redirect or create individuals. So, for example, I guess as an expert in a number of different areas, you would want an individually specific one for, say, mold, one for radon, one for asbestos, that type of thing. Would that make sense to you?
It's certainly not a bad idea. Um, I think that it depends on what people are searching for in your area, and you can look up on if you use Google Ads at all or you're familiar with that. There's a number of Google tools that will tell you like how many people are searching for mold inspection in your area, and then you can start competing for that. Generally speaking, there's very little competition for uh, these keywords. So, I think you can go there and dominate. For real estate agents, I'm going to mute you out, Jim, because I want to say this real quick. For real estate agents, because of that phenomenon that I mentioned earlier, where a lot of real estate agents are using an extension of their broker's website, essentially the local realtor boards, Zillow, and a couple of brokers usually in every area kind of own the first page of Google. Because the reality is before now, when this is a free thing and you can build a very rich website that can SEO very well, you've basically had the option of paying somebody thousands of dollars to create something that would even come close to the capabilities that this website has, even early in its development. And that's just not a reality for most agents when they're busy out showing homes or doing whatever. Scott, your hand is raised, so I'm going to come to you next. I'm going to unmute Scott G. Are you with us, sir?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I didn't realize my hand was up.
All right. Everything.
As far as one quick question, as far as domain names, as far as recommendations for um, domain name formats, what do you recommend? Like city name and then whatever you're trying to market, or area name?
Sure. So I'll give you an example that I'm pretty, and you can just extrapolate this to whatever you do. Um, so I have this where is it? Where'd it go? I know I had it open. All right, maybe I didn't. That's okay. I can look here. So if I search home inspection forum, and this is from usually anywhere in the US, you'll find that number 2 is homeinspectionforum.net. So obviously we bought that domain name with the idea that people might search that. And if you search inspection forum or home inspection message board, you get roughly the same results. But between having over 10,000 posts and lots of rich content, we moved from nowhere on Google to number 2, way above some of these forums that have been around for 10 and 15 years. And we really only have one more to overtake. We're working on that. But a lot of that has to do with the content, but there's also the domain name. So if you can find a domain name that people might search for, like Broad Ripple Real Estate, that would be a great one. Really, I love to stick with the .coms and the .nets, but there's also a lot more extensions that you'll find at economical domains that are very clever. And I think that Google's new way of looking at things, and again, they don't release this, so anybody who tells you they know what Google is doing, they're full of it. But if what I'm seeing from search results is any indication, I think they're really dropping the absolute domination of .coms and .nets, but it's still very much kind of there. So what market are you in, Scott?
I'm sorry?
What market? What city?
Philadelphia, greater Philadelphia area.
All right. So, in Philadelphia, there's definitely a lot of suburbs that somebody might search for. So I would start with those because they tend to have very little competition. But you could go for a big one. Sometimes I buy premium domains, and don't be afraid to do that. You'll find those at economicaldomains.com as well.
So when you're choosing a domain name, say I wanted to use Philadelphia Home Inspector,
Mm-hmm.
which I already own. Would it be smart to hyphenate it or to use underscores or just use one giant word with no spaces?
I generally like one giant word, unless the one giant word has a lot of, two-letter repetitions that make it look weird or sound weird, or where people could say something different. So, I mean, find the best ones, and if you want to, if you found one, send me a message, or hit the forum in this message board you see right here that says web development domains for real estate professionals and home inspectors, and I'll give you my input on a per domain basis, no problem.
Okay.
All right, we're going to Sheila real quick. Sheila, your hand is up, so your microphone is getting unmuted, and then I'm going to hit a couple more of these questions that I have been ignoring. Sheila, are you there?
I don't know how that got on there.
I cannot hear you very well. All right, I'm going to mute you out and go to the next one. Looks like I've cleared them. All right, cool. So let me go to the next question. Tell us honestly what you think about the .realtor extension. All right. Well, I think that it's overpriced for one. What were those going for right now? If you don't mind putting that in the question box, I saw some ridiculous amount per year. That'll come up in a minute. I think part of that is um, personally, it kind of offends me that a membership-based organization would take their trademark and make it such a profit center like that. I mean, if Dot Realtor Extensions, which they basically own the key to, um, if those are supposed to be good, I'd want as many people getting into them as possible. I would reserve or give everyone the ability to reserve those free if it was my membership base. But, I don't own that non for profit, so I can't really make decisions. As far as how it might stack up against other sites, I think pretty weak. Um, so we'll see. There's Dot Realtor, there's Dot Homes, there's Dot Real Estate Agent, Dot Ninja, there's Dot everything now. And I think that the reason you go with one of the super clever ones that people wouldn't normally put in, I mean, everybody knows, or most people on this webinar are probably aware I have a .com called Nathan.tv, which is a premium one. I paid thousands of dollars for it, but I'm really promoting that. People aren't searching for Nathan Thornberry out of the blue and finding him. They're going by what I put out there. So $50 a year for that, or whatever they do, is a little bit more. Question: how do you feel about Dot Homes? Okay, pretty much same response, but I would say this: some of these ones where you look at them and you go, that one makes a lot of sense to me. Dot Homes. That one's pretty simple. It's not a .com or .net by any means, but I would certainly go in there and this is your opportunity to reserve your name or reserve something very simple like Indianapolis .homes. Next one. So the question from a user was, hey, I'm already building a site, but it's not letting me save unless I enter a site name and enter a site URL. That is true. If you don't have a URL picked yet, just type in, some random set of characters really fast and .gh or .lt or something crazy, and you can go in and change those settings later. Next question was, do you send out weekly emails on what has been added? Well, let me address that real quick. So you guys are the ones that responded very quickly. I'm hoping you get in there and build some sites and go to our support forum at homeinspectionforum.net or realestatemessageboard.com. And I hope you're suggesting, things we can add there, helping us work through problems that you discover that we might not discover in testing. We will be sending out emails. And if you're on this webinar, I'm going to add you to an email list specifically for web development, and we can send out new launches and that sort of stuff. Our goal is to have more features than anybody out there. So come along for the ride. I think you'll enjoy it. How many email addresses come with the website? Well, if you go to economicaldomains.com, we have a built-in 2 gigabyte email box, and you can play with that. Again, you can't hit a button that hurts anything. Otherwise, you can just do, Gmail and associate it with any URL you want to. Will this webinar be available for listening again? Yes, it will be, hopefully. We'll see. No, it doesn't always work. The recording button is on, though, and it's burning through my hard drive as we speak. Next question. Can you post the domain site link in this area, too? It is in your chat, but if you go to the homeinspectionforum.net or realestatemessageboard.com, I'm going to post all the links and stuff in that forum about web development. And somebody else would like to review it, no problem. We will try to make that, get that done. Nathan, was it cold at the conference? Your nipples are hard in the pick. I appreciate that, and I love the kind of people I work with. They are. Look at that. I'm just real excited. Basically, not the typical buyer-seller content videos. That must have been a secondary comment to something I might find soon. Let's see, what else do we got here? Let me get rid of that. Can you have more than one domain point? We already went over that. I have several critical uses for this product. All right, well, somebody's going to fire their web developer. Good for you. That's exactly what I hope for. And once we build the site, how is it hosted by you? Yes, I already answered that one. So somebody else said making it very easy. Oh my gosh, I have a few more. It looks like there is a RWSC temp at mailservice.com. Is that the email from this site? Yes, it should be. Can't find web development and domains on the forum. Should be able to find it now, so check that again. Awesome pick. It was a professional that took that picture. Yes, sir. You will need to have your domain all ready for this, correct? No, you do not. Again, you can build the site before you have a domain ready if you'd like. I'm going to lower all hands and give anybody else who wanted to chime in now live last chance to do it. And then, as I get through the rest of these questions, we'll end the webinar and look forward to communication in the future, primarily on the forum, hopefully. Get rid of that. All right, this was lagging a bit. Sorry about that. Try and talk louder. Most people tell me to do the opposite, so thank you for that, Jason. Will this webinar be available? Yes. Is it mobile compatible? I touched on that one. What about Safari for Macs? I don't know anyone who uses that. Download Mozilla Firefox, but if you use it and you have problems, let me know. I will have our development team work on compatibility with that. Can we add buttons for Facebook, Twitter, and other social media? So glad I got that question. The answer is absolutely yes. Just pick any of the buttons off of the Google images. We can also add in, I think we have it on the docket to add something here. Okay, it's not in here yet. We have some automated stuff for that coming in. I do have a suggestion for you. There's a lot of HTML code you can grab off of these social media sites and create this, here's how many people like me and that sort of thing. I suggest just a simple, like us on Facebook kind of thing. I don't need to see your news feed when I'm on your page unless you're really just need content. Not to get us ahead, but is there a way to get rid of the word footer on the bottom of the page? It does not appear I can defeat it. The word footer. Okay, let me see what you mean. Footer 2014. Well, let me do this. All right, so I see what they're saying. It looks like I'm having no trouble doing that. Weird. So maybe that's a bug. We'll talk about it on the forum and take care of that. All right, let's see. SEO is my biggest concern. Good, Jason. We got you covered. All right, it looks like I went through all of them. Last chance to raise your hands and be live on this. Otherwise, I will see you on my Facebook page and hopefully mostly again at this homeinspectionforum.net. Let me see where it is. Here it is. So we'll see if anybody's posted there already. And the answer is yes, at least one so far. Last thing, real quick, for those of you that haven't experienced this homeinspectionforum.net. Again, going to the top of the Google search engines very quickly, both for real estate and home inspection search terms. And people are finding things that we're talking about. What you'll find is for those users that have been using this for a while, they'll put in a picture of themselves and they'll put in a link in their signature line. And what that does is every time they post on this forum, it gives a backlink to their website. That's pretty good stuff for SEO. It's not a magic bullet by any means, but it certainly doesn't hurt that somebody could search for, a topic you were writing about here and find your name, phone number, and website. I think that's the more probable way that somebody might come to you. And I've had a couple of people say that it already worked. So that's the end of the webinar for tonight. UltimateInspectorWebsites.com for inspectors, UltimateAgentWebsites.com for real estate agents, and UltimateWebsiteCreator.com for everyone else. Thanks for attending, and we will talk to you guys soon. Thanks.